Indonesia kampus Depok, Fakultas Ilmu Pengetahuan Budaya Program Jerman. Selain itu beliau juga bertugas di DAAD Jakarta sebagai Wakil Direktur, Editor Majalah Nadi, Pembimbing penerima beasiswa DAAD jangka panjang, dan juga tentunya yang menangani program beasiswa yang akan kita bahas pada webinar hari ini. Maksud saya bukan beasiswa tetapi mengenai tema research in Germany. Sebelum kita mulai presentasi, saya akan menjelaskan terlebih dahulu tata tertibnya. Yang pertama, webinar akan berlangsung selama 90 menit dari jam 3 sampai jam setengah 5 waktu Indonesia Barat. Pertama diawali oleh presentasi PowerPoint yang akan dibawakan oleh presenter. Kemudian itu akan saya buka tanya jawab, di mana Anda mempunyai kesempatan untuk bertanya kepada presenter dengan mengetik pertanyaan Anda di kontrol panel yang tersedia di sebelah kanan Anda. Uh, Pertanyaan akan saya tanyakan langsung kepada speaker satu persatu. Jadi saya harap mohon bersabar jika pertanyaan Anda belum dijawab. Kemudian ya, jika nanti Anda ada masalah teknis, tolong langsung Anda hubungi saya dengan mengetik juga di kontrol panel yang tersedia di sebelah kanan Anda. Oke, saya rasa cukup untuk pendahuluannya. Untuk meningkat waktu, saya persilakan kepada Pak Langguth langsung memulai presentasi. Dan selama presentasi, saya akan mematikan webcam saya.
So, my webcam is always on. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to the webinar on research in Germany and funding opportunities for PhD studies in Germany. That's the title. I made this presentation with the help from DAAD Germany, of course. A lot of slides came from them, but I extended it a little bit, which is actually not just a little bit, but a lot. I have more than 70 slides, and actually that's too much for one presentation, but I just keep them inside because there will be questions on certain things, and a lot of the slides are only examples. So I hope they give you some impression about it. My presentation is excuse my English, sometimes I'm not strong because I'm German. Normally I would like to speak in German or in Indonesian, which is also sometimes wrong, but today we speak in English. Actually, why should we speak in English? Because if you want to do research in Germany, or actually if you want to do research outside, maybe at all, you have to be able to do in English. That's a requirement to get a scholarship, that's a requirement to get an application to be accepted at the university as a PhD student, and so forth. So we try our best in English, and I hope you didn't get bored. Hope so. My presentation has three parts. Actually, it's half. It's parted in two parts. The first part has again two parts, which is one part German research landscape, and the second part, the first part is how to become a PhD candidate in Germany, and then there's the next 30 slides or so is about the DAAD scholarships, and information how to apply and whether there is one that is fitting for your background. Let's start, just go on, the German research landscape. Maybe you ask yourself, why should you hear something about the German research landscape? I suppose that most of you are PhD candidates. And if you want to do your PhD in Germany, you have to do research. Whether it will be at university or at non-university institutions or at the industry, company, you can do it, but for PhD you have to do your own research, develop your own approach for a certain problem and a certain question you want to solve about. So that's why I first will give you an overview about the institutions and about some certain developments in Germany, because if you are going to apply for a scholarship do your PhD. Or if you want to do a postdoc, it's the same. If you want to go to Germany, you have to know certain names, or maybe you come across certain names, and so you won't be a little bit more familiar with them and say, oh yes, I remember this has something to do with this university, or this has something to do with this research organization. Nice pictures here. So, what do we have as a background? Facts and figures. We have 800, or more than 800 publicly funded research institutions in 68 research networks and clusters. More than 500,000 people working in research and development in Germany. And there's a lot of bilateral cooperation inside European countries, inside Germany, inside European countries, and German institutions outside Europe. There's a lot of money in it, you see, but we will see that this money is not only for universities, but most of the money is coming from the industry. We have different players, that's what they call it. We have, of course, at universities we have research. That's a little bit different from Indonesia. In Indonesia is just starting to give some 10 universities or more is the type of research university now. But in Germany it's different. A full university, the professor has a duty to do teaching and to do research. In Indonesia it was more a lecturer, a professor. Most of them are purely for teaching. Of course, they've done some research, but it's not doing research with their students and stuff. But in Germany, it's a duty. Then we have these pure research facilities, which are outside of the university. There's a connection to universities always, and we have, as I said before, industrial research. Higher education institutions, we have a lot in Germany, more than 400, more than 100 universities, 200 universities of applied science. Maybe you have came across the term Fachhochschule. We have colleges for education, theology, art, public administration, and so on. Our main features of German universities are, as I said before, the unity of research and teaching. Most universities have a broad range of subjects. You can nearly study everything at a university. And we have a theoretical orientation on research and following the principle of Humboldt. Oops, yes. The next one. We have 2.5 million students in Germany. Indonesia has how much? You can guess. More than 5 million now. So Indonesia has a lot more students here than Germany. But if you have a look at the national students, we have more than 280,000 universities in Germany. That's 11% more, actually more than 11%. The numbers are quite old, from 2012 to 2013. In Indonesia, you have around 30,000 or 3,000, yeah, I'm not sure, about 30,000 Indonesians going abroad. You see that much more international students are in Germany than Indonesians, and all going outside for studying in the world outside Indonesia. We have a lot of money inside. The German government supports the universities in Germany. Most of them are governmental owned. We have a few private universities, but because education and research is excellent at universities from Germany, it's a governmental university. So actually people don't see so much need to go to a private university. And we have what we see later, the so-called excellence initiative by the German states, the German Länder. Germany is a federal state, and there is some progress in developing a certain profile from the German universities. So that's what I mean when I say you have to learn a little bit about research landscape in Germany if you want to do your PhD. You can of course look for professors. You can of course look at universities and graduate schools at universities which have also often a certain topic they doing research on. But a lot of professors have enough PhD students, or they are have too much work to accept another one. So you probably don't find a professor in your field, or you find a professor who says, yes, you can do this research with me, but you have to apply maybe for a research group at the Max Planck Society, or the Helmholtz Association, or the Leibniz Association, or the
Taruh iki
Fraunhofer
lho,
Association.
laptopmu lho, sing
This is the
laptopmu.
foremost, biggest
Ya,
ones
iku.
in Germany. We have, I want to present them a little bit so you see what we are talking about. These centers
Pisan ya,
are
Tay?
outside of university doing
Pisan
pure
ya, Tay?
research or doing applied research. They have different focus a little bit. And a lot of research projects are going on there. And if you want to do your PhD, you can do it there. So, but you, but you, you have to look that you doing your research probably at the Max Planck Society, for example, but you have to ask the supervisor probably where you can do actually then your PhD afterward. And sometimes it's not a problem. So sometimes you're doing your research at the Leibniz Association at a project, and actually the professor is leading the research group, and the professor provides you with a possibility to do your PhD then at his home university. So that's not a problem. Sometimes there's no professor at the research group, so you have to ask whether they can help you find a supervisor for doing your PhD. At the Max Planck Society, you can't do your PhD. It's not a university. The PhD or the doctoral degree is given by a university. It's not given by a research group or a research institution. Just to see, actually, I want to show, want to focus a little bit your orientation to this one. This facts and figures. Wait for a minute. I'll try the highlighter here. We have here facts and figures, and this is very nice to compare actually these numbers to get an impression what to get an impression to compare the four institutions I just mentioned. So we have Max Planck Institute, sorry, we have Max Planck Society, we have 80 institutes about, we have 70,000 people and 1.5 billion euros they have as a budget altogether. We have Helmholtz, much less research centers, 18, but double the staff, you see, but that means they have much bigger centers because there's double 35,000 people working for 18 research centers. They have nearly double the budget, so they do big projects like the DAISY, the electron synchrotron research on these particles from atoms and so on. The Leibniz Association is much closer by facts and figures to the Max Planck Society. 86 to 83 institutes, 70,000 people, and 1.5 billion euros as a budget. So you see, it's quite similar, but they have a different focus. We'll see that later. And the last one, Fraunhofer, 66 institutes, 22,000 staff, and 1.9 billion euros. Fraunhofer is very applied. They're doing applied research. It's not for industry, but they sell parts of their industry using results of their research. One of the most famous they have done, of course, if you know it, not that it's from Fraunhofer, but you use it every day, it's MP3. MP-Digger, it's an application which is developed from the Fraunhofer Gesellschaft in Germany and now used all over in smartphones, in MP3 players, and so on. See, this is, we have not only the four, and that's really important that you remember that actually we don't only have that four that I mentioned, but we have a lot more. A lot of universities doing research in separate research institutions, in laboratoriums, in research groups which have an own place and are independent from the university, but maybe partially funded. And you see, for example, we have Robert Koch Institute, we have the BZGA, BAM, ZSV, Architect, Leopoldina, and so on and so on. There's a lot of research groups where you can do research in your field, and you have actually just to find the right one. We come to that back later. And of course, most money, the biggest part of the money which is spent in research is spent actually in industrial research. You can, of course, do also You can apply at the industrial research group, and you can also do your research industrial funded if it's applied, of course, if you find a sponsor, or if you apply at an industrial company and at a laboratory doing your research there, you have to actually bargain to ask whether you can use the results or part of the results as a PhD thesis, and then you have to find, of course, supervisor at university which will accept that. But that's not that problem. Actually, a lot of people, the more applied a research is, the more closer you are to industry, and the more interest is actually by industry in your research and the result of your research. Here you can see an overview about the groups I just mentioned. You see, it's a simple graph. We have basic research and public funding, lower left corner, and we have private funding and applied science, right upper corner. And you see, we can place all these societies and research groups inside, and you find some kind of Milky Way here. We have nearly none applied science and public funding up here, left up, and we have nearly none private funding and basic research because they don't want to do it. They want to do the public funding, private funding, sorry, private funding companies want to do research which is applied. So it's clearly that there's a combination by industrial research. But you see also Fraunhofer is quite close to them, as I said. We have network clusters which have a combination of research groups by universities and so on. And see, we're going down here, Leibniz, Helmholtz, Max Planck. Max Planck is quite close to basic research and public funding. They're doing the elementary theoretical researches on phenomena of physics and stuff. That's the industries you see also. That's finished part one, not part one, the first part. Now we come to a little bit complicated topic for you probably, and you can, of course, or you should, of course, forget most of it after this presentation, but you should probably remember 5 to 10%, or you should remember a little bit about it if you come across during your search for a research partner or institution you want to find. Because Germany have done something quite astonishing after not taking care much of the universities through 50 years. The government and the land decided that there should be a little bit more competition between the universities. Germany don't have any elite system. It's different. Probably you know it. People don't say, or they do say, but it doesn't have so much meaning as it is from America. If you want to study in America, you look at your budget, you look at your scholarship properly, and then you choose the most expensive, the best university you can get for that money. Germany is different because we don't have tuition fees. Some master programs have, but for bachelor and for PhD it's free. You have to find a university which is fitting most of your profile, which is fitting your field of study you want to do or research. And but of course, if there is no competition, if there's no concurrency, people and institutions get lazy. So Germany started a competition which is called Excellence Initiative, which is funding programs for universities. They're getting more money if they succeed, and they have to improve quality of research and teaching, and so on. We have a look here. This they have to make up the university to keep in the competition. Graduate schools to promote young academics. We will come back to that later. 10 years ago, there haven't been any graduate schools at German universities. There have been this traditional system of supervisor, PhD supervisor, and his PhD student. But now, because more people want to do PhD in Germany, and with the traditional way, they can't succeed, so the university have to open up graduate schools. That's one part of the competition. They have to build up clusters of excellence, not only research group, but clustering top-level research from different faculties, from different, maybe also from different research institutions, and they have to develop an institutional strategy, partly for internationalization and so on. You see, there have been two phases, 2006 and 2012. The second phase now 2012 to 2017. Still 3 years ago. These are the 11 German universities with an excellent future concept, which are in the second phase actually included. But you see, that doesn't mean that they are all, because they are mostly, a lot of them are universities, full universities, it doesn't mean that every faculty and every program of study is excellent or the best. From Germany, it's not an elite system, but it means that they're developing something, that they have developed a graduate school and a research cluster and so on. But if you come across the so-called, if you come across the term excellence initiative, that is meant by it. See, it's all over Germany. It's also has been small universities which you would not expect to be part of. See, we can go back here. For example, Cologne is actually a mass university. It hasn't been very famous for its excellent research, but they made a good concept, had good research cluster, so they become part of it. Dresden University, of course, University of Bremen has been a mass university also, but it's now part of the Excellent Future Concept program. Eberhard Karls University of Tübingen. So you see. Let's go on to the second part of the first part. It's how to become a PhD candidate in Germany. Why do I do some slides about that? Because Germany is always a little bit complicated, if I want to say like this. It's not very simple. It's not, because it's not private. People have to take care. People have to learn a little bit. People have to get interested when they want to go to Germany, and have to read and have to understand. First problem is, not a problem actually, but first thing which makes things also for me not easy to give a presentation on, is that German is a federal state, and the law for education is not made by the center, it's not made by Berlin, but it's in the hand of the lands. The lands, the states, actually Länder in Germany, and that means that we have a governmental law or laws about education and how universities have to work, but that is made by the central government, by Berlin. But that is only a framework, and inside that framework, you have to look inside that framework. States, federal states can place vary a little bit. To make it more complicated, and that actually is complicated, universities are autonomous, and they can vary again. And to make it even more complicated or specific, faculties and study programs can vary again. So we don't have this one rule how to, what are the requirements to become a PhD student in Germany. We have hundreds, maybe thousands of them, because every university, every graduate school can make up a little bit variation in their rule. Of course, there are overall rules or guidance rules, but why I said like this is, don't try to understand everything, and don't hear what people are saying who may be coming back now after 5, 10 years being in Germany, which have become a PhD student 10 years ago. Don't hear too much about advices from people who are just going, because maybe they're going to another city, going to another university, maybe they're doing another field, maybe they have another situation. What you have to take care about is your university, your faculty, and your programs, study program. That's important. So the approach to find a place to do your PhD is actually by field of research. You have to think about what do you want to do research on. You have to write a proposal. With that proposal, you try to find a supervisor, professor, or you find a research group which is doing research in that field, and then you get in contact, and then you look there on this place, only specifically there, whether you fulfill the requirements or not. Yeah. You see here, see that why study for a doctorate in Germany? We have all over Germany you can do a PhD. We have a lot of universities. We have excellent initiative graduate schools, what I said, the excellent initiative, and we have international Max Planck research schools which have a combination of graduate schools all work together with universities or are part of universities. And we have cities with several universities which have the right to give the doctorate. The former university, the former Fachhochschule University of Applied Science, don't have the right to give the PhD until now. Maybe they've changed, but so you have to look for universities. Rising numbers, international doctoral students, that's why they make up graduate schools. We discuss it later a little bit, but you see, a lot of people, America is top, of course, but Germany is second or third in the world with PhD students graduating every year. Where are these people from? And you see, this is about, I think, the first 20. China on the top 2,000 people every year, but it's the old one actually, it's 2008, 2009, and Spain. So Indonesia is not yet among them, but you should start applying to Germany for PhD. So you will, Indonesia will appear in this list. See an overview from all over the world, even from USA, actually all over America, coming to Germany to do their PhD. It's quality assured and it's good. So, what requirements do I have to meet? A little bit we can talk about them because we have to, of course. First of all, as I said, you have to have a high level of motivation. That's, to tell you the truth, it's in combination because we have no private university. If you apply for a private university, you pay a lot of tuition fees, not only to get the supervising or the teaching or the lectures, but to get a service. And because in Germany we don't have that system, you don't have so much service in Germany. If you want to do your PhD, you have to be eager to find information yourself. Of course it's prepared. Of course there are offices to help international students. Of course there are people who help you, but it's not like you pay and then you get a flat and then you get all over service. No, you have to take care a little bit about the studies yourself. And surviving that gives you not only insight in German universities, but also gives you, say, a kind of intercultural experience. Then you have to have, of course, the requirement to do your PhD in Germany, your doctoral thesis, and that means you have to have a master's degree. Normally, just now you see that I'm saying normally because I can't say it's fact you have to have it. Some universities have different rules, but normally you have to have 5 years studies until S2, until your master. In some countries you can do three years bachelor. In Germany too, 3 years bachelor and 1 year master. So you have only 4 years. That's not enough normally. And of course, not of course, you have to have a written thesis. That's a problem for people who, for example, are going to Australia doing their master by coursework in 1 year. Probably again, 1 year is maybe too less, and then even by coursework it's not enough. You have to have a thesis normally. Don't think yet you have to learn English, German to study in Germany. A lot of doctoral theses, a lot of requirements for a PhD say you can write it in English, but sometimes your final oral examen is in German. Be careful about that. It's written in the requirements. There is some rare exception, but don't be too hopeful about that. There is a kind of fast track at some universities. You can do your PhD with only a bachelor degree, but that's only for excellent bachelors from excellent universities. So normally it's if you're coming from Oxford, Harvard, or English elite university. So sometimes universities asking for additional examination. And as I said before, because of autonomy from universities, just remember, every every university is responsible for admission of doctoral students or not, for accreditation of qualification like master and so on. So it doesn't make it doesn't help you if you said my friend got accepted at that university. You're a different case, so every case is one by one decision by university, whether they accept you or not. It's not a comparable thing. Okay. As I said before, we have the traditional individual doctorate apprentice model, and we have a new one which is called degree graduate schools or structured doctoral programs. We want to compare them a little bit because we will come across them. We have special scholarships only for structured doctoral programs, and those have their pros and cons. I want to change my spotlight. We have the traditional doctoral study model. And here, and we have a structured PhD model here. You see, the supervision, actually, the problem is just like this. The selection procedure and what's written here counts for everything. The traditional relationship between the supervisor, PhD supervisor, and his PhD student is mostly informal. There's not so many, how to say, quality assurance, actually formal quality assurance. You get in contact with the supervisor, he accepts you, writes you a letter of acceptance, which means that he accepts you as his PhD student, which doesn't mean that you will automatically get admission at the university. That's what you have to keep in mind. Applying as a PhD student is different from getting a letter of acceptance from your supervisor. This is in the traditional doctoral study model sometimes a problem, because people don't understand that if they get a letter of acceptance from a professor, they are not automatically admitted by the university. But there are different requirements, and of course, not every professor knows everything about all degrees of the world. You probably have never a student from Indonesia which brings a Sarjana Dua, but he said, oh, it's okay, I accept you because your proposal is nice. But then the university, the dean's office and the faculty said, no, this is not enough to have a PhD student. This is much better in structured PhD model in graduate schools, because there you don't apply for a supervisor, you apply for a place in the graduate school, and then the graduate school gives you 1, 2, or 3 supervisors, and they check your eligibility. They check whether your master certificate is enough to study there and get a PhD. So you see, one you get in contact with a supervisor, and the other you get in contact with an institution, which is a graduate school. The one does the admission, the one only admits himself as a supervisor on the academic field. And he said, yes, this is my field of study and I can supervise his research. Another big problem is, as I said, in a graduate school you get probably 1, 2, or 3 supervisors. Why is that? That is for quality assurance. Just imagine, if you only have one supervisor, which you've never met before, you only get in contact by email, you arrive in Germany and suddenly you feel that your chemistry is not working well. That's not cha-cha, it's not fitting. Your characters are not good. Probably you're fitting very well. Both can happen, but there's a part of incidentally. So you don't know what happened. You cannot assure it. And it's a big step going to another country, investing money, or applying for separating from your family and stuff, or leaving your job. Then you arrive at your guest university, and you don't fit with your supervisor. If you're going to a graduate school, you have 3 supervisors or 2, and they looking for each other, and every time one of these 2 has time, and it's not like you're depending on the opinion of one or on the time of one. because that can also happen. The process of applying for PhD is a long one, especially if you apply for a scholarship. But so maybe after 1-2 years you get successful, then you consider, yes, I'm your supervisor. In half a year I have my sabbatical and I go for 1 year to, I don't know, Siberia or somewhere. I will not stick around and cannot supervise you. That can't happen at graduate school because they provide you with a supervisor. Okay. The other thing is that in traditional doctoral studies you are alone sometimes. You don't have many people there sticking around. In graduate school, you have regular meetings with PhD students which are exactly in the same situation as you, and you do regular presentations, regular discussions on your topic, on the topic of your friends or your fellow students. So that's much more of exchange, information exchange. Yeah. On the other side, sometimes the traditional doctoral studies is much more personal, much more people get involved privately. In graduate school, you won't get involved privately with your normally not, because there are a lot of graduate students have the same supervisor. So there are pros and cons. And some people prefer the traditional model, some prefer the structured PhD model. The traditional doctoral studies sometimes is you are more on your own, fighting or surviving on your own, and you have to bring much more discipline because maybe there is not that formal framework as a graduate school. But on the graduate school, you are more like in the school system, of course, helping you with additional courses about scientific working and so on. That probably, hopefully, gives you an idea what is meant about graduate school and what is meant about traditional doctoral studies model. Yeah, we talked about that already. If you want to do the traditional one, you have to find a supervisor which is working in your field of research, who is able to supervise you, and you send him a proposal and stuff like this. You have to do all the process. You have to apply for admission by yourself and so on. Some hints actually, if you want to get in contact. Just write a short email before. Some university servers will put your email in spam if it has an attachment or stuff like this. Write one email before with a very clear subject and a very short description. And please take care that the name of your probably or maybe future doctor father or doctor mother, which is called in Germany, your supervisor, is spelled correctly. People getting Verstingung, even in Germany, if you misspell them for the first contact, so they think if someone can't even write my name the right way, so why should they be able to write a dissertation and stuff? In the subject, don't write something like I need your help or a proposal or stuff. I always delete emails like this without opening them because it's a lot of spams like that. So think about it. Get a serious, I don't know, get a good email address. So it's not like or I don't know, like Sweet Honey or stuff. Get your name and maybe an institution, because the rest is not good. It's not, I don't know, huh? Professional, yeah, as you said. So, structured programs, we have a lot. We have search machines now for structured programs. We have more than 600 now. We have graduate schools in English, purely in English. We have graduate schools which enters in the field of international programs, English and German mixed, or other languages mixed. We have graduate schools only in German, of course, too. So these are the steps. We don't have to do that. Again, how to finance it. Of course, later on we will talk about scholarships, but you also can find, especially if you doing applied research, you can find paid positions at industry. Of course, you can apply from Indonesia for a research group at the big companies in Germany. If you're doing an automobile and stuff that's going on, or sometimes a professor has connection to industry and can help you to find a position like this. Sometimes you also can apply to become a scientist assistant for the professor, assistant for the professor, but that actually is very rare. The positions are very rare, so the competition is quite hard, rough. You can also take your own money or other fundings. If you want to go to Germany, doctoral programs are tuition fees. Some do actually if you study too long. If you're planning, you have to plan with about 8,000 euros a year for all over everything. Everything included actually. If you don't want to have a big car and a big flat, of course. If you want to live as a student, cooking themselves, cleaning themselves, and so on. Oh yeah, again, one comment on how to find supervisor. If you are not successful, send the email again. And if you're still unsuccessful in getting an answer from some professor, try to ask help from your supervisor here in Indonesia. Probably he's a German alumni, or ask German alumni in your university, in your field of subject, whether they can help to get in contact. Because sometimes it's just the first email, and then they're going to answer. So we have a lot of say. Oh, I see it's a little bit old, but it's still there. The DAAD International Programs webpage, you can download the brochure, you can take it here at our DAAD office in Jakarta every Thursday from 1 to 4:30. We have this nice thing, frequently asked questions doing a doctorate in Germany, and much more, much more. We're going to come back to the homepages later. So, we come now to the big second part. Probably you can, should we make a question round now or later? Yes, maybe we just have a short break so we can answer the question on the first part. Please.
Can you hear my voice? Can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Alright. How to find the best way to find the professor or supervisor for architecture and design?
Yes, that's a difficult question. Actually, it's not difficult. You have to go on the useful websites we are discussing later. Actually, probably we postpone this question because we have search machines and I can do a demonstration also later on. But actually, you see, DAAD is an organization which represents all German universities, and we are not allowed actually to figure out now one or two which are the best, because maybe the other one complains. So that's why DAAD provides search machines which are, which are clear and which are informative, and which don't say favorite one or two universities, because we are not an agent. We are not doing agent work like bringing you to one certain university. But we're going to talk about that later, the website where you can just put in your, or we can also do it now if you like. Just wait. Sorry, it's a little bit confusing. Let's have a look at our website from the DAAD. Did you see it? Yeah, yes. You see? On the left side, you have on our team scholarships, which we are discussing later. We have alumni, but we are not alumni yet. And we have study in Germany. So let's just go there. So You see, it's popping up. Study college, but that's only for people from SMR now, and we don't discuss that. Higher education institutions, PhD in Germany, research in Germany. That's actually the 2 points we're going to have a look at. So we open this one, research in Germany. You find a lot of different points again. And let's have a look. PhD in Germany. And that's interesting because you can do, for example, here, structured PhD programs. Let's have a look. Behind that there is a kind of database. Hopefully.
Ini Malang. Ini kono perwonge saya.
Here for the individual one. Find your structured PhD program. You remember I just had a look at structured PhD program if you want to do it. Again, a lot of information. Requirements. DAAD, doctoral program, database. Over 700 now. But now we have to find the link. It's not here.
Togane saka karton ya, Mas.
So here you see what I said before, PhD at university and non-university research institute and PhD in So this is interesting because here we have a DAAD Research Explorer. There you can find field of studies. It's quite popular. It's made by DAAD or sponsored by DAAD. So see, we have this Germany and this Federal States, the different ones. And now we have to find the search machine, subject area search.
100 berarti. Sak semester nih berarti ta, Bro.
Please select. And now we have to have a look. So, the question is, you're going more to design or you're going more to architecture?
I guess architecture.
So try engineering. And now we find architecture. Probably here is
Ya terus yang kayak
building
luar
design.
Jawa piye? Perwakilan.
Let's have a look just for architecture in general and all cities.
Perjalanannya Mas Adi, Pak. Luar biasa.
You see, that's a lot. We have 109, let's say, Treffer, and this is alphabetically. So please compare. Probably we should do, because it's too much, we go back. Problem now, engineering, architecture. Let's have a look here. Design here. Interior. Hopefully we get less. 78 is still a lot. But now you should go on and compare all these. Probably here. You see from the title, actually, it's not really. Sometimes you get an idea, but chair of modern architecture, history of modern architecture, economy of planning and building. If you have a look here, you see you're still on the Research Explorer side. You get a small overview. Which university is it, and kind type of faculty it's university. It's not the University of Applied Science. There's a link to it. Actually, there should be a link directly to the study program, but it's not. But we have a look here. Now you see, and that's why I want to show that. Now, after that was the last step of the data bank. And now you go to the university directly, because the data bank can't be updated all a little bit. The link is there, and then you have a look for inside the university for requirements and so on. Dissertations, for example, you can have a look. This is in German, you see, so it's not really international. There's an English version of this. Okay, now we have a look here. For the second one, we have been structured programs, and I click this page. So we want to do PhD, field of study engineering, subject architecture. Now we can have a look if there is any only in English. Let's have a look. Additional features. Location you can specify, duration, and when it starts. See, summer semester and winter semester, that's German terms because we have 4 seasons.
Penelitian.
The summer semester starts in March, the winter semester starts in October. It's 1 month behind Indonesia, actually.
Pembelajaran, Mas.
Let's have a look what it is saying. So,
Media.
doctoral studies in advanced construction building technology. See, this is a little bit more, for me it's a little bit better to understand this one than the other one from Research Explorer, but it's okay too because this is only for graduate schools. So, we have the title. Have a look. We have the title here. Then we have how it's called, what you get, PhD doctorate. Tuition fees, it's mentioned, should always none, but sometimes there is some, I don't know why. Should not. Course language, English. Admission semester, anytime. It means neither summer or winter semester. Here it's only written what you get for a PhD, doctor PhD, doctor PhD. So, normally, let's have a look here. You're still inside the DAAD database, and now that's what I like here, is because here you get a little bit more information about the curriculum, the faculties, services, more, but we have to get this one maybe. So.
Ora masalah kuliah. Ning
Okay.
semit barang ya
But
internetnya lambat
here,
kok.
then again, after this overview,
Terus
you
multimedia
have
mau
to
lambat.
go to the university website to find more information, which is actually now applicable for useful with this in German again. This is very international. They have English page 2, and admission stuff you have to read and compare. So, probably that can help you. Let's have a look again.
Aku beda mas, dua soal ABCD, tapi pilihannya atau jawab mas, bukan dijawab, pilihannya dijawab.
Okay. Probably we should go to the next question.
Actually, the questions are already answered with your.
Wow.
Most of the questions about how to find this university or supervisor in a subject of blah blah blah.
Yeah, we're gonna have a look later.
Yes.
We're gonna have a look later on the Hochschulkompass again. There's also about field of study. But if you use the DAAD as a starting point for your research, you will come to search machines in different fields. Of course, we just had one about graduate schools. We also have study in Germany DAE, where you can find all fields of study actually, and there you can find your professor. To find a professor for a traditional program, actually, the perfect way, actually just to imagine how it should be, of course, is like you have an idea what you want to do as a research. You're writing your PhD, your proposal, and during writing your proposal, you're looking for articles in scientific journals, and then you find 1, 2, 3 articles from the same professor, which is accidentally a German professor, and then you have a look, oh, he's a professor at that university, and try to get in contact to him and do your research with him because it's fitting. You have the same idea. That would be the perfect way, but normally, actually, of course, it is like we done before. We go into the DAAD, we have a look at which universities is there, my field of study, and probably a curriculum which is fitting my research, and then you try to get in contact with the professor. Let's come to the second part. Is there a DAAD scholarship for me and useful websites? Again, I choose a picture, from a labyrinth, and it's because you see your goal and you think it should be easy, but sometimes it's not easy. In the end, it's easy, because in the end you have an overview and see, oh, now I understand. But during the process, it looks difficult and complicated. But let's have a look. Again, we can have a look later on the real website. You go to our website. But now DAAD changed it a little bit. We have a new database. We have to go to the DAAD database, but we're gonna come back to that later. To understand DAAD scholarships, we have special programs and we have regular programs. The special programs are maybe not for all the years, maybe just the special funding we have for a special group, for special countries. That's what they call special programs. The regular programs are that which are every year and regular and more open actually. The special program normally is limited to a certain group of people, to a certain field of study, to certain courses at universities. Just get an idea, 2014, Jakarta DAAD offers following special programs. We have PPGG, which is Public Policy and Good Governance, EPOS, which is Scholarships for Development-Related Postgraduate Courses and Master Candidates. We had a DAAD Lighted program, which is a postdoc scholarship program, and we had Sustainable Water Management for Master and Doctoral. So, that's the first thing. You have to have a look at every site. Don't only look for the regular yearly PhD scholarship program from the DAAD. If you, for example, you are coincidentally doing research in water management, your chances would be much bigger if you apply for the Sustainable Water Management program. But there you have to apply for certain universities and faculties. It's not free to do your PhD everywhere, but it's you have a list actually on the information side where you can apply and hopefully will be accepted. Same actually counts for most of them. PPGG has a list of master programs at German universities where you can apply for. EPOS has a limited list, not limited, it's quite big, 30 programs actually, but for your field of study, it's always certain master programs where you can apply. Then we have regular programs where I don't see them. Now they're coming. We have the so-called long-term scholarships, full degree studies in Germany, and we have the so-called short-term scholarships. The short-term scholarship is 1 to 3 months. You can do it as a postdoc or as a DAAD alumni. When you are an alumni, you should apply as an alumni. If you're not, you should apply for the research scholarship program. And then we have the scholarship for, as I said, for professionals with relevance to relevant countries. We have for PhD also some actually. And then we have the open one, long-term research grants for graduates of all disciplines. Target group. For the long-term research grant, I don't know if we should actually discuss all in detail because time is running, but just to get an idea, you need to have a minimum GPA for all of them. You have to have a master's degree. There's no age limit, but we have the requirement that your master degree should not be older than 6 years. So please don't ask if it's 8 years or more. Please don't ask. If it's 7 years, there's what should be, which means maybe with 7 years you can have a chance, but should also not. Normally, you will be rejected if it's more than 6 years. We are targeting the best of the best. Actually, it's a how to say beasiswa untuk orang berbakat. So we not only looking for lecturers, of course we do, but we not only lecturers from public and private, but also researchers from public and private and state-run research institutions. We're looking for private persons, but of course you have to have work experience, and then you have to have the TOEFL or IELTS. TOEFL IBT 80, IELTS 6.0 is the requirement for a scholarship from the DAAD. Be aware that probably the requirements for becoming a PhD student may be hired. And that's for the long-term research grant. For the PPGG, there are some you need to have 7.0 IELTS. So please, if you aiming to go abroad, learn English. If you are not fluently yet, it's a requirement, and it's a basic requirement. And don't apply with 550 institutional TOEFL test, because with that you can't be accepted as a PhD candidate in Germany. You have to have an international one, at least then. Normally the deadline for that is 15th October. You have to wait, of course, for the next call for proposals, call for applications, which should be maybe in June or July. But you can have a look for the requirements of papers you have to put in already at our website. We put that from last year. Normally for this program, for the regular programs, there is not much, I'll say, not much change in the Landpera paperwork. So you can prepare. You can of course apply much as soon as there is a call for application. You can apply. To understand the process a little bit, you have to fulfill the requirements, the formal ones, all the paperwork. You have to get a letter of acceptance by a professor, and you have to prove as far as possible that you will be eligible for the university, that you get an admission. That's, as I said, it's two different processes. A letter of acceptance for traditional is not enough. Then you need a contact to the dean's office or the admission center of the faculty that with your background you will be accepted as a PhD student. If you apply for graduate school, that's different. Then the application, the letter of acceptance from the graduate school is enough, because that includes an admission already. Okay, having fulfilled all the requirements and not send them only to us, but you have to apply online now, there's a portal, then you probably, if you are eligible, then you will be invited for a personal interview in November or December, depends a little bit, and there is a committee from DICTI and DAAD professors, which is independent from DAAD. It's a joint committee, but the professors are independent, and they will interview you, and you have to pass that interview. So it's not only sending in papers or uploading papers now, but prepare yourself very well for the interview, because the impression of the interview there will have the result of a ranking, and the ranking is that what will be most important for getting a scholarship or not. Sorry, I have to concentrate again. So, even if you're passing the interview, then there will be, not because we want that, but there is, of course, a limited amount of money, and there will not everyone who is passing the interview and fulfill all the requirements will get a scholarship. So be prepared that there is again a selection of the best of the best. So prepare yourself for the interview. Okay, what is included in a DAAD scholarship? It's a transport allowance, it's a German language course in Indonesia and in Germany, a monthly living allowance, a research subsidy, family allowance, health insurance. So it's full scholarship. It's not that you're becoming rich by it, but you don't have to work. You can focus on your PhD thesis, writing and doing the research, and you should, because the plan you have to make in your proposal is for 3 years, and the scholarships for 3 can be extended maybe 1 semester again, 3.5 years. So you really have to focus and concentrate on your research. How to apply? We have an online portal, Move portal, so you have to find the link, the real one. But every year we do some explanation, you can call us. But you have to upload and complete your application alone online, and then print out a summary and send it to us. Just sending it to us is not enough. It's only if but in Indonesia you have internet access, but maybe there's, I don't know, a certain circumstances which allows you to say there is no electric power for the last month, then you can send it also just by post to us. Yeah, postdoc research scholarship, we skip that. If there's a question, we come back there. This also we skip. We have a program which I will recommend. It's not a pure DAAD program. Actually, it's a program from Indonesia, from DICTI, but it's administered by DAAD. It's called the Indonesian German Scholarship Program, the so-called DAAD swap, what you probably have heard of. I will recommend this really much. The requirements are the same. What you get is the same. You have to be a lecturer. So if you are a lecturer and if you have basically an NEDN, then you should apply here because the chances that you get this scholarship are much bigger than to get the DAD because the concurrency, the quota is much bigger we can send, and we have much less people applying for that. The only negative thing sometimes what people think is that there is no family allowance, but there will be probably one starting from the third semester for people who are applying now. It's a new development. DICTI actually want to have this. So keep in mind, if you have an NEDN, you also can apply for both. So if you're not if you're not on the ranking much, if you're not high enough in the DAD ranking, then you can still get the DAD. But you have to apply or register at least online at the DICTI website. Don't be confused. Sometimes the DICTI website for each ITSP is not the university you want to study at. It's not just choose any of them and write it then down in a field that you actually want to go to another one. Then there's no problem. Or you can write an email to me, Mr. Langguth, or Mr. Enro Dogmas at our ITB, our DAAD office here in Jakarta. I really can recommend that. So please don't be, how to say, hesitate not to apply for that one. There is a lot of bad rumors sometimes in the newspapers about money is not sending forward from Indonesian state governmental scholarships from DICTI. But as far as we're doing now, ITSP, there hasn't been any delay for ITSP scholarship holders because the money, as soon as you are accepted, the money for the next year is at the hand of the DAAD and will be forwarded to you. Useful websites. There's some coming. You see IGDS, it's an old one. It's not the right one. Our website from DAAD Jakarta, we have the website from DAAD Germany with DAAD.de. We of course have an DICTI, ITSP. I hear myself now. So, for example, this is the DAAD Germany homepage. How to find it? This is actually an old one. Sorry, it's not updated now. They have just made a new one. I want to show you something else. So we're going on. This is the research in Germany. We have just had a look on. This is the old page also. Oh yeah. That's not. Now it's jumping. Here. I also already told you that each study program, each PhD student is responsible. I have a feedback now. I hear my own voice. Is there any microphone on? No. Yes, that's better. That every university, every faculty can make up their own rules and is actually alone responsible for accepting someone as a PhD student. That's why I want to show you two examples, just to have a look. See, just do your own small research on. Look here. Here we have the graduate school life science in Munich. And they have requirements for their PhD program listed here. And if you go sorry, problem here, technical. If you go Center for International Health, same, it's also Maximilian University Munich, They have also requirements for candidates. So there, every graduate school, every program should publish their own requirements, and you have a look at them, and that's the one you can follow and you can apply for. So, University Bonn, you have to find them. You have to find them in English, of course, and if you don't find them, you should go on looking for them, or if there are none in English, you shouldn't apply for that university because probably they are not ready yet for international students, which, of course, some universities are not yet. So, just for the last 5 minutes, no, for the last 2 minutes, some comments on the proposal. You see, you have to write a proposal. A proposal, it's you have to learn a little bit actually, or you have to understand what does it mean to write a proposal for a German professor. Some professors like very long proposals, some very short, but actually both is wrong. It should not be too short, should not be too long. A proposal just should show that you have identified a scientific problem, that you have identified a methodical approach to solve the problem within a realistic time frame and a reasonable expenses. This is two things I want to focus on is actually the realistic time frame. If you apply for a scholarship, you have 3 years time formally. You have to make up a plan, a research plan for 3 years, month by month, and send it with your application for the scholarship. If you make one for 4 years, you will be rejected of formal reason because DAAD only supports full projects, which is inside 3 years time frame. If you make one for 2 years, you get a scholarship probably for 2 years only, not for 3. Because they say, okay, you have to do it in 2 years, as you promised. The second one, reasonable expenses. It's easy to make a big proposal, a big research. You have a research idea about, I don't know, earthquake or tsunami with thousands of how to say, sensitive electronic devices all over the oceans. But who will want to pay for that? Think about, is it possible? Can I do it? Do I get the data? People try to apply with proposals with data from oil companies. They will never get because the oil companies don't give out the data. So do something realistic. Talk to your professor. If the professor says, yes, you have to do research for 5 years, then you say, I can't because I only get a scholarship for 3 years, and so on. So be a little bit realistic. Next one. Here it's written actually a little bit about the length. It should be 4 to 50 pages. Depends on the topic, of course. Depends on the material you get. Depends on your style. 4 pages text. It's not 4 pages including title page and bibliography. It should include a good bibliography. Of course, I know the problem getting the new, literature, the newest literature in your field is sometimes difficult in Indonesia, but you should do it as far as you could. You should do research in the internet. You should not copy a bibliography. If it comes out, and it comes out that you pretend that you have read a few books that you haven't, so you won't pass the interview at all. You're losing your credibility as a scientist before you even become a scientist. Plagiarism may result in your disqualification, not only in the interview at all. Don't try that. Just be open. Just don't be too local, but work on it. Yeah, more information about doctorate. As I said before, we had these programs frequently asked questions. I think we are finished now. We have other webinars in 2015. Please visit us again. Come to our office. Make an appointment with our staff. Hendro, as I said before, he has an email. You can find him. I can show you his face in a few seconds at our website, daadjkt.org. Thank you very much for your attention, and I just show you to whom you can speak. I don't understand why here pop up. It's embarrassing. So this is me again. You can write an email to me, or you have a look here to Mr. Hendro Prabowo under the email name dogmasdaadjakarta.org. Thank you very much.
Okay. Wait.
Feel free to ask in English or in Indonesian as you like.
How do you
Jan
determine
sopo lho?
how do you
Jan
determine the
Marijan
age of master degree?
Ora Jan
The
Farid.
date of oral examination or the date of graduation ceremony written on graduation ceremony?
Harto.
Yeah, that's what I said, should not be. We actually look at the year, not at the month. So if you apply
SDSB,
now in October
Sumbangan Dana Sosial
2015,
Berhadiah,
your master
singkatannya.
should not be older than
Ning
2009.
kejudi.
That's all. Just, how to say, subtract 6 years from 2015. And if you made your examination or if you get your degree in 2008 December, probably you can write a letter for that. We'll have a look.
She said, I have discrepancy of the dates and the years.
How can that be? Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, but I don't understand your question. How you can have a discrepancy of dates and years?
Maybe we should go on to the next question.
No, just have a look at when did you get your title? Something is written on your master, and it can't be that it's more than a year. It's not possible that on your certificate is written 2007, but actually you just get it. Yeah, probably you just get it out in 2009, but then you do your examination in when?
Alright. We are waiting for her response. And I mean, in the meantime, we can go on for the next question. For the research proposal, should I make it based on recently theme of research field of professor that I have contacted? Right. For the research proposal, should I make it based on recently theme of research field of the professor that I have contacted?
I don't understand. You should do what?
About the research proposal.
Yes.
About the theme, is it from the professor or from ourselves?
No, the proposal is what you propose to do research on. Actually it's just a proof that you are able to think scientifically a little bit already. That you have ideas about, for example, if you want to do research on groundwater, you have to know something about hydrogeology. Yeah? If you want to do research,
Biasa.
and you don't do research
Film.
at all on groundwater, you do it in a specific area. So if you want to do it on Kalimantan, you have to show that you know the hydrological situation in Kalimantan and probably what influences the groundwater and stuff like this. So there are coming methods, there are coming background, there are coming research, what studies have been done yet and what should be done afterward. Of course, it should be yours. Sometimes the professor said, I like your proposal very much. If you want to, and I would like to be your supervisor, but I cannot, we have our own topic, so if you want to join us, we do it in this field, and then you change your subject. But in the end, it's you writing your proposal about your research plan, which will be your dissertation, but later on, of course. If the professor writes something for you, and normally the committee which is doing the interview sees that because it's different style and different topics, or you cannot explain anything which is probably right, then this is again plagiarism, so you should be careful about that.
Okay, I've got the response from the one who asked about the discrepancy of the dates. I took my oral examination in 2010 My certificate is issued in 2014.
Wow. Yeah, so that's positive for you actually. So I think if you apply, we have a look at your certificate. So the oral exam, sorry, the oral exam, it's not about, it's not about Joanna. The oral exam is not what we're looking. We're asking when did you get your degree, and that's written on your certificate. So probably, I don't know why, and we don't care actually why. If you have your oral exam in 2010, maybe there's still something missing, so you go on, and in the end you get your degree in 2014. But it's good for you, so you can have more time to prepare.
All right. Next question. How deep should we write for the proposal while discussing with the professor?
How deep?
Yes.
So that actually includes two questions. The one thing is that in the letter of acceptance by the professor for supervising, you should be mentioned your proposal, the topic of your proposal, or the title of proposal, so that we know that the professor read it and decided to accept you as your PhD. Some professors just write LOA's, letter of acceptance, out of the blue, and that's not gives a good impression actually, because they're writing, I think he's a very promising student, but they haven't read even the proposal. So there should be something mentioned. If you're asking me seriously how deep you should write the proposal, I would say as deep as you can, of course, because the more you do now, the more you read now, the more you already think about what you want to do, how you want to do it, and what knowledge is lacking you, and probably you read already that much, the better, of course. So it makes no sense to say, oh, just write a little bit. There is no degree like this. It depends how long you're working also. We have people applying for the second time, and if they apply with the same proposal as last year, they haven't done anything, so it makes a bad impression. They haven't any haven't any, how to say, ambition, and so on. Look, for example, excuse me again, look also that you have new, how to say, literature as new as possible. If you write a proposal and you only have 3 books written and they're all from the 90s, that's not possible. If you don't get new books, then write it in your proposal. You can mention books without reading, but not pretend you have read them. Write like, for example, I know there is a new method, probably described in that article, but I have no access to that article. But you know that there is an article, and you know that there is a new method, even if you haven't read them. That makes a good impression, because that shows your competency in your field as far as it's possible for you. So, if there's a lot of work in Indonesia and you haven't read the book, so that makes a bad impression, of course.
All right. Is there any possibility to do sandwich program for PhD in Germany?
Actually, that's a moment I would like to open up our website again, because I forgot if we have the program still inside. Do we have an... yes. Until we don't have anymore. Yeah, we have. Yes. IGSP and the DAAD offers a sandwich program, but you have to understand what does it mean, sandwich program. First of all, I want to show you the website again. Don't be confused. I don't understand why, but our professional website developer said it's better like this, that we have a 2-part scholarship website, and I agree, of course. We have the first part under scholarship is current scholarships. You see the name and the link behind it, and you see deadlines. This is open now, and then we have all the DAAD scholarships. You see, that is separated in undergraduates, graduates, scientists, postdoc, faculties. We have a lot of programs supporting cooperation between faculties or study groups or stuff like this. So, here we should find everything you're asking for. So, the research grant for doctoral programs, this is what we are looking for, isn't it? You see, it's closed. and online see information. Sometimes we have a list, like here, booklet list. There's a list of study programs you could apply last year, but normally it's not changing much. And then we have here information point, and here you click. You see what I mean? And then you click, and you get a link to the database from the DAAD. And what's written here actually is the one which is normally Langguth. What is the right thing? What can be funded? So Mr. Hendro, who's sitting beside me, said that we have a sandwich model here. It's written already. Applying for that program, which is called Research Grant, means three things. One thing is you apply for a full PhD program in Germany, which is 3 to 3.5 years. The second one is 1 year, which means 10 months, actually, up to 10 months research as postdoc normally, or doing your PhD here also. You can also do, it's both the same. And the last one is the sandwich model, and you have to understand what means sandwich model in Germany, or what means sandwich model for DAAD. That means that you have a German supervisor and you have an Indonesian supervisor. And you are PhD student in Indonesia, but during doing your PhD in Indonesia, you go for probably 1 year, maybe up to 1 year, to Germany and doing some research there, and then coming back doing your PhD at your Indonesian home university with the German professor coming to Indonesia. That means sandwich here. So please be careful using terms without the definition. If you only want to apply for research, apply for research. Sandwich is a certain model, but to clarify whether you're eligible for sandwich or not, you can always contact us. Please don't be shy. What I most hate, sorry about the harsh word, what I most hate is because people apply wrong and they will be rejected because they choose the wrong program, because they are too shy to ask before. People here are very friendly, speaking German, Indonesian, and English, and you always can send an email, as long as you read what's written on our page 2. But after that, if you don't understand, I think please don't feel too shy to ask. Okay, but here you see what I want to show to you is where is it? Oh yeah, we have these 4 or 5 actually tabs, what it's called. And see application requirements. You can always print it out. Application procedure. And here you see documents to be uploaded in the portal. And then contact and consulting. This is our, this is actually, I see we have, no, it's okay. This is me again, the lecturers. And then if you want to start doing this process, you have to submit an application, paling kanan, most right. Then you register, and it has 2 or 3 steps which you can do wrong there. So please read by heart the information. And you can call us also if you have a problem with that. But then you can register. Oh, so applying online. So. So currently you cannot apply for the program, of course, it's not open yet, but if it's open, then you can always start applying, save you have to register first, and do it step by step, do it slowly, it's not a problem, but start doing it up front, and start collecting the required documents, as I said, which are written here, because that's sometimes a lot of work. Okay? Next question?
Maybe will be the last question because the time is running out. If I intend to do the doctoral program in a research institute, will they be the one who gives me the doctoral title?
Yes. Thank you very much for asking again that question. Not again, sorry. Thank you for asking that question. To make it really clear, We have the four big research institutions, as I mentioned before, and we have dozens of smaller ones. These research institutions are not eligible, not allowed to give you a title, because a title is only given by university. But, as I said before, a lot of professors working in these groups, research group at the university, at the research, and actually they like it. But you have to mention it if you apply there. If you're interested, get in contact with a research group, say that you're interested in doing a research in the same field, but you want to do a dissertation, and if there is any affiliation, any connection with a certain university, which will be, or with a supervisor probably, working in this research institution, who can act as your supervisor, I'm sorry, a researcher or a professor. Normally there shouldn't be a problem at all. Or even if there's no one, they have a connection to a certain university, or they will find someone. I think that's at least the problem. If you already accepted one of these research groups, that gives you a recommendation, which is very strong, very good.
Oke, saya rasa cukup webinar untuk hari ini. Mohon maaf, masih ada beberapa pertanyaan yang tidak bisa dijawab. Mohon maaf karena waktu memang sangat terbatas.
Same with me.
Oke, beliau juga mengucapkan mohon maaf. Di saat ini saya juga ingin mengingatkan kepada para peserta atau kepada Anda yang tertarik untuk mengikuti acara DAAD Quarterly yang akan diadakan pada hari Jumat besok. Informasinya bisa dilihat di website kami di bagian Calendar of Events, bisa dilihat. Dan acara itu adalah pada hari Jumat besok jam 6:30 sampai jam 8:30 di gedung Summit Mas 1. Informasi lebih lanjut silakan Anda lihat lagi di website kami. Oke, sekali lagi terima kasih dan mohon maaf, dan sampai jumpa di webinar selanjutnya. Selamat sore. Tschüss.